of the CFR, call for world government, call for taking your guns, call for all this. We're just talking about something public here. But again, over and over again, they know you don't want to take responsibility or fight it or get involved. So they have their talking heads go, oh, no, it doesn't exist. You didn't see that on the sitcoms. You didn't see that on Fox News. You didn't see that at the halftime show at the football game. But they have a problem. The C-SPAN audience is intelligence. They watch C-SPAN, the C-SPAN audience. They see CFR meetings every week where they call for New World Order and world government. And so they're all calling in going, what do you mean? Go back to it, please.
All the time when I listen in and out of these programs, people who sound very rational, very smart and intelligent come up with these very intricate theories.
Yes, sir. Dr. Barkin, I wanted to ask you if you heard anything about the UN and any conspiracy as far as a New World Order. I know there's a lot of Americans that have changed their mind about the UN and as far as our involvement in the UN.
Well, virtually all conspiracy theories that talk about a so-called New World Order give primacy to the UN. That's been a motif that's been there for a long time. It's hard for me, as a matter of fact, to think of a contemporary conspiracy theory that uses the term New World Order that doesn't talk about the UN as having some kind of a central role.
In a moment, I'll ask you about what Alex Jones says is the impending staged capture of bin Laden. We go to Atlantic City.
Okay. Notice there that the caller calls in and talks about the UN and, do you know about this conspiracy? And other callers call in and go, I think the Democrats run the conspiracy. And then Brian Lamb goes, well, wait a minute. Bush talked about a New World Order. Both sides are controlled. Bush is playing the bad cop in Iraq. The UN's going to come in and play the part of the good cop. How do I know this? Globalist white papers are public saying it's all staged. But they know you're not going to stay up till 2 in the morning reading white papers. You're going to go to the topless bar. Go ahead.
You're on the air.
Yes, good morning. I listen to Alan Jones religiously from 2 in the morning till 5 in the morning on Real One Radio on the Internet. If anybody really wants information, he is the man who has it, believe me. I wanted to ask Mr. Barkin about how the passports of the hijackers were found. If that 911 building burned up, how 9 of the 19 are still alive in other countries, and how those buildings appear to have been blown up.
Professor, before you answer, let me just ask our caller, why is it that you believe what Alex Jones tells you?
Because he makes a lot of sense. There are just too many coincidences about the whole situation, from George Bush's coup, and totally. And I watch a lot of history. I watch a lot of PBS. I do not watch propaganda. As Hitler said, it is easier to believe a big lie than a little lie.
But I'm going to press it a little bit more, though. Who is Alex Jones? Why does he have the truth? And why is everything that he says reliable? Do you know anything about him? Do you know where he was born? Do you know how much education he's got?
It just makes sense, believe me.
It just makes sense.
It just makes sense, because the other way just doesn't make sense. And I know there's evil behind the skull and bones.
Well, let me ask you this. He says there's an impending staged capture of bin Laden. Do you believe that?
Yeah, everything's staged. Everything that the skull and bones do is staged.
Professor.
Well, I guess I would ask first what the basis is for the various assertions about 9/11, because they really run so clearly counter to everything else that's been reported.
Recently, the press secretary...
It all runs so counter to what's been reported. I've been in this studio live for over 2 years, a little bit over 2 years, telling you that in November of 2000, the government ran a drill of flying hijacked jets into buildings. And where did I get this wild idea? But from the Pentagon's own website. You know, I just went to the Pentagon's website, and they said they did this drill. Military District of Washington, News, Contingency, Planning, Pentagon, Mass Cal exercise. Then they had a drill on 9/11. I got that from a top lawyer interviewing the military officials at NORAD. And then, oh, I'm a nut, I'm crazy. And then it's in USA Today. See, I'm just, everything we say about 9/11, I told you they had all these tapes of McVeigh with all these Middle Easterners. Of course, they worked for the U.S. government. Later to be blamed on Saddam, linked into the right wing. And I'm a nut, but there it is in the Associated Press, reposted the Ossenberger Statesman. Oklahoma City bomb document cites video of multiple suspects. I mean, come on, just go back to these establishment hacks who are lazy and
Bush's
can't even
father
come up with
wrote a book
sophisticated ways. Can't even come up with sophisticated ways to counter us. Go ahead.
And I have not read it, so I've got to be careful what I say. Allegedly accused LBJ of having JFK murdered. Now, that's all very strong language. The press secretary, I believe, has either not said anything about it or left the impression that he doesn't, he's not in on this, or I don't know. His brother has also been nominated to head up the Medicare operation. Did you read about that? And that's, I know you refer to the Kennedy conspiracies in the book, and what does that do to a story? What does that do to the people that believe all the conspiracies about JFK?
Well, I know of the book only through the news accounts.
Now, I had the father of the White House press secretary on my show for an hour and a half months ago. He was LBJ's personal head lawyer. He was there when LBJ said, I had Kennedy killed. He writes a book about it full of documents. And then that's their response to it. Their response is well, doesn't really say anything. 92% of the people in America believe the government killed Kennedy in major polls. You little 8% can keep saying we're all crazy. We know the facts. To the next clip, please.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen. Yes, my conspiracy theory is that the Democratic Party is behind the New World Order. If you think about it, in order to have the New World Order, you have to have a weak America. You look at the Democrats, they're constantly trying to cut defense, cut intelligence, trying to bring us in line with, like, the European Union. Everything about them is, it's like they basically want us to become a state of the European Union. And you see Bush is like, we don't need their permission. And you see all the Democrats like, oh, we need the internationalists. We need
Caller, but let me ask you this, though. George Herbert Walker Bush was, I think, one of the first people to ever talk about the New World Order, and he's a Republican. The Skull and Bones is nothing but a fraternity.